Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the 2015 Ferrari California T. I am very excited because I've been doing this for 10 years, and this is my first Ferrari press car, although not the first Ferrari I reviewed. I am a fan of Ferrari and their products. They're always good fun. The 2010 California is kind of one of the exceptions. I didn't love it when it came out. It wasn't very fast. It didn't feel very rigid. There were some issues I had with it, but hopefully the new California T will address and improve on some of those issues. We're going to go top down because why not? Retractable hardtop, 14 seconds to go from coupe to convertible, and it stores the top in the trunk, which does limit your trunk space a bit, but they've actually added a pass-through in the back seats, which is pretty cool. We'll keep the windows up because for sound reasons, but we'll keep the roof down, well, also for sound reasons. Yes, fires to life. 3.9 liter V8, twin turbo, 7-speed dual clutch gearbox, and we're off. Manual mode, of course. The Manatino, the mode switch, offers 3 different modes: comfort, sport, and then full off. I don't have a race mode in the California, mainly because people won't be racing it, but off is full off. And as I will demonstrate right now, launch control is very special. This car, very easy. First gear, press the button, left foot brake, right foot gas. Here we go. To 60 in 3.3 seconds for a front engine rear drive car. Nutty. 0 to 100 under 8 seconds. So what you're probably thinking is, have the turbos ruined the car? No, they have significantly improved on it, and I will demonstrate why. Great. So with the twin turbos, you get 100 more horsepower than before. You get 200 more pounds of torque than before. So you get a nice round 550 horsepower. The California weighs 4,000 pounds, but I swear to God, you wouldn't know it. They managed to really hide the weight pretty well, even if they don't visually hide it, because it's all in the trunk, in the roof. Gearbox, incredibly fast. Whether you're in manual or automatic mode, it doesn't matter. It's just beautiful how fast it changes gear and how smooth. Also, how smooth the engagement is off a hill. Look, just to demonstrate, I know you want me to drive fast, but stopped on a hill, right? And I'll roll into first gear. No rollback whatsoever. Back to going fast. You can just hear those pops on the shift. Doesn't really crackle when you come down off compression. Like other Ferraris, the steering rack is incredibly quick, very light. Not a lot of weight behind the steering, but really direct. Makes it easy to drive every day. Ferrari has pitched this car as the everyday Ferrari. And to a certain extent, they're right. I mean, provided you're willing to drive a $240,000 car every day, in a lot of ways it behaves like a normal car. It's easy to park, it's easy to see out of, it doesn't rub going in and out of driveways. You can take them at a normal angle, which is nice. It's got great torque for driving around town. You don't need to wind it out all the time. But winding it out is so wonderful, I would expect you to do that. Ceramic brakes are standard, and this version has the optional magnetic dampers too, which are perfect. Right now we're in sport mode. Still offers really good ride quality. In comfort mode, driving around LA, it's really, really comfortable. See, some other cars like the Mercedes comes to mind. You put them in comfort and they get a little sloppy. You put them in stiff and they get really, really stiff. With this car in comfort mode, the predictability is still good. It doesn't feel sloppy around the corners. It just takes bumps better. Hello. They weren't very pleased. Another thing I love about this California and all modern Ferraris is they're very roomy. If you're a big guy, a Ferrari is, you know, a nice place to be. There's lots of headroom, lots of leg room. Yes, the back seats are silly, but they exist. I don't know, if you've got a little kid. I put my groceries back there the other night. Going through town, just take it a little easy real quick. Other things they've improved, the seats. They tried to do like a low back thing in the first California. Maybe it was a throwback to the original California, but the point is that they had no shoulder support. They ended like here, and they were weird. I felt like I was sitting on them rather than down in them. By re-engineering the seats, I feel like I'm sitting further down in the car now, and I feel more a part of the car rather than just riding on top of the car. Back out of town. Turn my boost gauge back to boost. Ferrari with a boost gauge. Wave of the future. In exchange for the turbos and that 100 horsepower and 200 pounds of torque, you lose a few revs at the top, but I mean, look, how often are you between 8,000 and 9,000 RPM anyway? Your usable rev range becomes much, much higher, much wider, I should say. And this new engine is smoother than the old V8 too. Less vibrations in the cabin, but with equally rewarding aural effects. Speaking of aural effects and exhausts though, and that's A-U-R-A-L effects, they ditched the double stacked exhaust. It's not stupid looking anymore. They made the back look more like the F12 with the side-by-side exhaust. They added some crease work, and oh my God, it makes a huge difference. Huge difference. All right, out of town, let's go quick now. The throttle response, I mean, there's a little bit of lag way at the bottom of the tack, but once you're in the rev range, right where you'd be for driving, the response is really instant. Really, really good. The brake pedal feel immediate. I mean, really, really right now, very little pedal effort actually required. Oh, it's very, very good. You can really load up that nose by braking at the very last second with those carbon ceramics. I love this section here. Whee! God, it's fast, man. There are not very many problems that you could have with a car that 100 extra horsepower and 200 extra factory pound-feet of torque don't fix. But in this case, they haven't just fixed one. They've fixed all of them. Well, nearly all of them. In a perfect world, Ferrari would offer a fixed roof, lightweight California coupe, maybe a California Berlinetta or something. And I imagine you could hack 400 pounds out of this car, add some rigidity with a fixed roof, and it would just be unbelievable to drive. It drives like a small car. Physically, it's a few inches bigger every dimension than a Corvette. But it really shrinks around you when you start driving quickly. Very little body roll here, nice and flat. When you tug a paddle, it shifts yesterday. It shifts so fast. Oh, it's good. I really love these turbo motors in these Ferraris. The 488 is nutty too. That was a 7,500 RPM red line there. Oh, a little dusty in this section. Don't want to lose the back. Really linear throttle response. They haven't tried to create one of those artificially flat torque curves like BMW. They wanted to leave it with the character of a Ferrari. Oh, I can't tell you how fast that was, but it was really fast. Let's do one more launch because I see a FedEx truck there. God, the way it comes down off, oh, it downshifts. One more launch for good measure, right? What do you say? Here we go. Holds at 2,500 RPM, and we're going. 3,500. Wow. It's so fast. Why is it the looks? What is it about? What turned me off to the California was just that back in the day, it wasn't as engaging as I felt like it should have been. This car has completely fixed that. Whew. Wow, wow, wow. So, all right, where can we end this one? They've changed my mind, and not just by giving me one for the weekend. It's hard to say I'm not biased at all because I'm enjoying just driving a Ferrari, but they really have changed my mind. The car is so much faster, it's so much tighter and more rigid, it's so much more responsive, the brakes are better, the suspension's better, the seats are better, the multimedia system is better. It's all better, and with the exception of the folding hardtop, which isn't my personal taste, I have no more complaints left about the Ferrari California, other than the price, 240 grand. But at that price, it's way more fun to drive than a Bentley GT. It's more fun to drive than an Aston Martin. It's more interesting than a Porsche, and it's comfortable for big guys, and that's what we love. See you guys next time.